Hey, folks. I am back with a new episode of The Real Life Manos. Holy shit, did I just do this 2 weeks in a row? Oh my God, unheard of. Unheard of. Well, I'm back, baby. And it's going to be kind of a light show this week. There really wasn't too much like exciting comic book news to really get into deep. Unless anybody wants to bring up something in the chat, then we can talk about that. I'd be happy to have regarding anything really. And I just thought I would talk a little bit about a couple of the comics I picked up this week. And I'll be maybe not talking about too much in detail, in depth, but just had some thoughts and just want to chat a little bit. This was kind of, I don't know, an average week. I thought regarding comics and such. I didn't really have anything really major. Outside of, I don't know if the news about Marvel moving away from Eternals 2 and Captain Marvel 3. I don't know if that was this week's news or last week's news. But I can maybe talk about a little bit about that. Mostly kind of bummed out. So I think that's basically all I have to say really about those things. But let me just get some shit together here. Oops. And be happy to talk to some of you if you're happy to talk to me. And I'll give you some thoughts about some of the comics I read. So yeah, I'm hoping to do this. It looks like Sunday is the most convenient time for me to do this show. I've thought about doing this on Wednesdays, but I'm possibly busy. Some Wednesdays and some not. But Sundays seem to be usually kind of open for me. So I think we're doing that. So let me get this all straight here. And we can just talk about some stuff. So, all right, let me get this all set here. There we go. Boink. So, hello. Let's see. Wonder if anybody's watching. Oh, hey, Marion. Right on time. Hey, man, I was disappointed about Captain Marvel 3 and Eternals 2. Yeah, maybe I will talk a little bit about that. So I just wanted to, and by the way, if anybody watching this wants to throw in the live chat, any possible like comic news I can talk about, I'd be willing to give my thoughts. Nothing really too extravagant jumped out at me this week, although I don't always care about the same shit. So it's possible something major happened and it's like, oh, yeah, that's nice. But let's see. Let me just tell you what's going on here. Let's see. Right now, I am doing my YouTube channel thing. I am trying to write a book of short horror stories. I'm actually almost done with it, and I'm pretty excited for it. But this week, my focus is two things. Lindsay's birthday. She's turning 42 this upcoming Sunday. And I think we're going to have a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy kind of theme to it, since she is turning 42, which is the answer to the universe. And I don't know if you know that, but that's actually probably one of my favorite jokes in the whole franchise. We're going to be doing that. I guess I won't be doing a show next Sunday since that is Lindsay's birthday. So I'll be taking a week off. Hey, look, I've worked 2 weeks in a row. I mean, you can't expect me to keep going. So I'll be off next weekend. I mean, it's possible maybe I can do the live show on a different day. I'll let you know upcoming, but I won't be doing it next Sunday. Um, and Saturday, I am doing a comic show in here in Virginia. I I have gathered a group of very talented comic book artists and writers, and we are doing an indie comics show at the Chesapeake Central Library, and that's going to be March 30th from 12 to 4. And it's just going to be a small showcase of our work, and also a not just selling our comics, which we're going to be doing, but also a kind of like communication with fans and potential artists themselves. Because one of the things I've always noticed at shows I do is constantly there's always one or two people who like ask me like, how do you make comics, how do you write comics, how do you do it? And that's one of the things I wanted to do for the show, because I wanted people to see at the show how many talented artists are in the area and producing comics, and maybe like help kind of explain ourselves, and maybe give proper advice, and or improper advice. So it may be in my case, but that's kind of what we're doing right now, and I'm pretty excited about the show. It's intentionally a small show. I'm not trying to do like a big giant show, because I think that'd be a mistake first time out, because I barely know what I'm doing. Uh, Advice, like if you're starting something and you don't know what you're doing, you may want to start small and conservative about the way you go things. Let's see. Are you reviewing comics? Yes, I am. Um, let's see. I'll be talking about those comics in just a minute. I just wanted to wait until I got a couple people watching before I really get started. I didn't read too many comics this week, actually. I did buy Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, which I haven't. I bought issue two, and I realized I haven't read issue one, so I didn't read issue two until I get back to one. But I've been digging the Scarlet Witch ongoing series right now, so I'm excited to finally sit down. I have some time tomorrow, so I'll sit down and read that. But this week I picked up Wonder Woman #7 by Tom King, and Gullum March doing the art, and Captain Marvel #6, and that's by, let's see, Alyssa Wong and Urari Coleman, by the way. And both were pretty good, I have to say. Let's see, nothing that blew me away this week, but definitely stuff I liked. And I'll get into Captain Marvel first. Captain Marvel is still in its first arc with, let's see, all Carol and let's see, Yuna being attacked by this entity creation. Let's see, what's the Omen, and the Omen is going after all like the big kind of members of the Captain Marvel family, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Marvel has a Captain Marvel family of its own, and I think they're starting to kind of like sew that up. Like, oh, you know what? We kind of have this. Maybe we should take advantage. Because let's see, we stole the name from DC, so we might as well like steal the family concept. So, and there's a Mister Miracle, a Miracle Man. Oh, excuse me, Miracle Man family and stuff like that. Why shouldn't Carol have one? Uh, I really kind of like that idea, and I hope they keep heading in that direction. And they're all being attacked by the Omen, and they're trying to get the bands that Captain Marvel's son, and I think Marvel's son, I think, is dead. Like he has a hole in his chest. It's being controlled by the Omen, and I don't know if he's coming back from this. He looks kind of dead. And I also keep forgetting there was another Captain Marvel. There's another female Captain Marvel besides Carol and besides Monica, and she looks a lot like Carol. Which there's actually a neat bit in this where they fight against the enemy and they change trade costumes, and kind of take full advantage of the fact that how much they look alike. That's kind of neat. But I really dig this issue. This was a pretty fast-paced issue. The art from Coleman, I think, is really good. Really strong art. I will say, I guess its biggest detriment is reading this. I'm just reading this one issue. Um, it's decent because it's this is very much a part of this is a chapter larger story arc. So it's one of those ones that you jump in, read it. It's like okay, that's fine. Um, but like part of the whole arc, I think this is nicely. So yeah, I like this one. Not too much really to say outside of like it really does raise this nicely. The art's great. I do like what Wong seems to be doing. I think she's kind of putting together like the Marvel family, which I think is a great idea. Um, and by the way, I've never been, I've never blamed Marvel for like stealing the name Captain Marvel from DC because after all, DC stole Captain Marvel himself as a character from Fawcett. So comes around, goes around. And let's see here. So yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I'm going to give this. Let's see. I'm going to give this. I don't know. I feel like 3 is kind of a low rating for this. 4 is kind of strong. I'm going to give it maybe 3.5 ram chips. I thought this was pretty good. This is a good like entry into this arc. I really do like what Wong is doing with this series. It's a very fast-paced arc. I'm curious to see where how long this arc is. It's a little. If I had a complaint, maybe it's like running maybe an issue or two long, because I think this is probably going to go 7 or 8 issues or something like that. And it's like, I don't know if this needs to go that long, but I'll decide that once it's finished and I can get a full read on it. But pretty good, I thought. Let's see. You deserve a bigger audience. I agree. Let's see. Uh, Feel free to share my videos and if you can like and subscribe, if you've already liked and subscribed, but commenting on my videos and hitting the like button and hitting the notification bell, all that stuff like helps the algorithm somehow. I don't know. I actually don't know how this shit works. I do know engagement helps. Let's see. Have Captain Marvel, Danvers, and Nova ever met in the comics? I believe they have. I haven't read. I assume they have. They seem like characters who kind of like rub shoulders a lot in certain places. So I imagine they have, but I don't know. That's actually a good question. I may look that up. I have a lot of Carol's work in the Miss Marvel series. I have a few. I have a trade of the first few story arcs in her second series in the 2000s, and they didn't seem to meet there. I haven't read the whole run of that 2000 series. That was the one that ran just before she became Captain Marvel, and I don't know if they met during the Avengers run. I feel like they met, but I don't remember anything off the top of my head. It's almost like Daredevil and She-Hulk. It's like, well, they always hang out, right? Like, oh, but let's see. I'm going to move on. I'm going to give that 3.5 ram chips. I think that's really strong. All right. Now we go to Wonder Woman #7, and this is by Tom King and Guillem March. And Tom King really did jump headfirst into like the hardcore political side of Wonder Woman, which I thought was a great idea. And I think that's sometimes something writers are a little gun shy about, and it's a little annoying because that's a very strong part of the character. Like there is the feminist side of the character, there's the high logical and fantasy side of the character, the superhero side of the character, and then there's the political side of the character. And some people kind of are afraid to really touch on that. And Tom King, uh, he admittedly said that like he was a little afraid of writing the character, and once he kind of figured out his angle, he went all in. And I'm really glad because I have not done a full review of the first arc. I should probably do that. Oh, but this is kind of a nice kind of change of pace issue, a welcome reprieve from just coming down because everything was just so serious and epic for a while. So it's probably a good idea to kind of take a break, and that's exactly what this is. It's Wonder Woman and Superman are taking a break. They're having a shopping moment, and they go to they it's Batman's birthday, and we're basically doing the reverse of the Alan Moore story. Um, the man who has everything. Where Batman and Wonder Woman struggle to try and figure out what to buy Superman, and when they come to deliver the present, like he's been captured and stuff like that. And a lot of us are familiar with that story. This one is kind of like the flip side, where Wonder Woman and Superman go to buy something for Batman for his birthday, and it's a different type of story because it's them in a mall, but it's like this giant cosmic mall where all aliens from other planets can show up and shop around and find stuff that's really hard to find all throughout the universe. And it's kind of an interesting idea, a cosmic mall. And this place is called the Andromeda Mall. And let's see, parking sucks. And that's the thing. The parking is terrible, and the arrangements are terrible. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. It's like a big city mall where the parking sucks. Oh, and it's actually sweet. This doesn't go into like the Alan Moore story where it goes into more serious story. This one is just Wonder Woman and Superman just kicking around this mall, and they are talking, and Superman is trying to kind of like lead the conversation into what's going on with Wonder Woman and her current situation with the U.S. government and the Amazons. And she's like, "Oh, okay, let's go to this store." And like, "Oh, well, hey, that thing that's been happening. Oh, hey, what about this place?" Like, okay, she's obviously trying to avoid the conversation. And Superman is just like, "Well, hey, that's great. Think about the U.S. government kill you." Um, let's see. Uh, let me take a break here. Hello. Man is more radical than Bruce and Clark. That is true. I think that's probably why so many writers struggle with her because, um, yeah, she is a lot more radicalized than the two of them. Um, and the title "Spa Day with Superman" sounds like a really fun 20-minute filler episode. I'd love to watch. Hello, how was your day going? Gotta be honest with you, this Wonder Woman comic was bad at best, and I'll get to that. But yeah, I gotta say it's very similar. This actually kind of reminds me not just of the Alan Moore story, uh, but it kind of reminds me of Tom King's own story, where it was Double Date, where Batman and Superman go on a double date with Lois and Catwoman. Um, I do think this is not as good as that because there's it's just Wonder Woman and Superman kind of going back and forth on this thing, and Superman has this thing where he keeps like suggesting really terrible ideas for super for Batman's gift. He's like, "Oh, hey, let's go to this place. They sell like pills that turn you into a animal for a day. Maybe you'd like to be a bat." I mean, he likes that, right? So, no, that's not good. And he's like he's going to other places. Like, "Oh, hey, this place that sells magical weapons. Oh, he'll take that or giant coins. He likes those." I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's just sometimes it's like, what are you okay, Clark? Like, I don't know if these are like even in the ballpark of good suggestions. Uh, but let's see. They go to a coffee shop, and it's like, what's the coffee shop doing to this alien? It's obviously kind of like trying to like incorporate like Earth culture, in this place. It's like, oh, hey, humans like uh coffee. We'll do the coffee thing here, and it's called Earth Bucks. 'Cause it's like Starbucks, and get it. I don't know. That's kind of a I'll be honest, like that's kind of a lame joke. Oh, that what's not lame is the fact that they misspell Superman's name on the cup, which is absolutely priceless. That's a great joke. And like they write Supperman on his cup, which I think is absolutely hysterical. I did kind of chuckle pretty hard at that. And he takes it in stride. Yeah, whatever. Okay. We have an alien that sees Superman, and he goes, "Oh, look, I buy this kryptonite. I'm going to attack him." And Wonder Woman takes him out, no problem. We get a cameo from the Mixoplick guy, and he tries to trick Superman. Superman barely does anything to get rid of him. It's very funny, and this kind of reminds me of the Bruce Tim episode when we first meet Mixoplick, and he's like, "Yeah, this happens every so often, and these things kind of take care of themselves." Uh, but meanwhile, we still get Superman kind of trying to engage with Diana about what's going on, and like, you need help from me? Is there anything I can do? And let's see, we do get this really nice scene. Hey, they go to the spa and they, get manicures and pedicures. Well, I'm not sure how. Oh, they do have someone like with his feet, like really kind of like get I guess the hardcore equipment out. But she's a little bit easier to work with. Uh, but it does kind of end with uh, them having finally this conversation of her telling him, "I understand. I know you're there for me, and I know you can be there for me in a heartbeat. But this is just something that I have to take care of, and the Amazons have to take care of. Yeah, I appreciate it, and I will call you if I need you." And it's a nice scene. And by the way, what did they decide to get Batman? They took pictures at a photo booth together, and it says "Happy Birthday, Batman," where they make fun of Batman too. By the way, for years, at least since the '80s, it got more and more common for Batman and his fans to like make fun of and make light of and constantly trash like Superman and Wonder Woman. And in the last few years, I've been seeing Superman and Wonder Woman make fun of Batman, which actually I think is kind of hilarious because that actually makes more sense. He's the brooding jerk among the three of them. So maybe that's not like completely uncommon. I don't know. And also, Wonder Woman does have a sense of humor and kind of bite to her sense of humor. So I don't know. That's kind of neat. And he's like, I don't think this is good. I don't know if this is strong enough yet. So look. Let me just take some coal and make it into a diamond. She's like, fine. Like you've been bitching at me all day to do that, and he does. And they they sneak it on his battlefield. And let's see, there's a sweet moment where he like finds it and he takes it to one of his like orphanages. I guess to for them to sell it or something. I don't know. He could just give them the money and whatever. Oh, and he like keeps a picture in the backfield, and I think that's actually a really sweet moment, frankly. So I don't know. I thought this issue was pretty decent. I thought some of the dialogue kind of like did some heavy lifting for this because there's really not much. I think this probably could have been half this issue, or at least some other plot to kind of beef it up. So I thought this was pretty good. It's not as good as Tom King's Double Date, which I think had the advantage of not just two characters but four characters interacting, and we got to see, and also we got to see Lois and Catwoman interact, which is not something we see too often. And also, they have more variety of spaces they went to. So, not as strong as that issue because I really do love the Double Date issue. But this one is just it's good, and also it is kind of like a nice breath of fresh air for a minute because I know we're going to probably go right back into Wonder Woman's really serious political hardcore action arcs. And so, okay, let's take a break. go to the mall, and we'll go back. So not bad. I would probably give this 3 lamb chips out of 5. I thought it was pretty good. The art from Gull and March is pretty decent, and some of the moments made me laugh. So not bad. I'd give it a strong 3 lamb chips. It's a good like Wonder Woman Superman uh, issue as well. I like seeing them interact. So that's really nice. Do I have any comments here? I did miss the Trinity backup this issue. That's true. You didn't get that. So I guess they're also taking a break with that. I'm curious to see where he's going with that. I have no idea where he's going. The diamond is at the top of the money. He already gave. Yeah, I guess so. Let's see. I also like the only thing Batman wants for his birthday is a chance to help orphans. That's a good point. And that's to be honest, that's I think one of the best things about Batman is the fact that he's always wanting to help, and I'm liking. I don't know. I like it when writers remember that instead of him just being a brooding asshole. For him to be someone who cares for people that way. Uh, so yeah, I thought there was a pretty decent issue actually. And, like I said, there's some really funny moments in it. So it's not as strong as Double Date. I'd say it's a slightly weaker version of Double Date, but it's worth a look see. So yeah, that's all the comics I read this week. I didn't read too much. I don't know what's coming up. I know we have some. Let's see, I'm not even sure what's coming up next week as far as comics are concerned. So I'll have to check it out. I'm getting more and more excited and for the upcoming relaunch of X Men. I've already talked about that last week, so I won't really but the let's see. Let me ask you. Do you have any questions for me about anything going on? Until then, I'll talk about I guess the announcement that we're not getting Eternals 2 and Captain Marvel 3, which I think is more unfortunate because I really enjoyed those films. But I guess Eternals 2 is kind of a bummer because I mean we left off a pretty big cliffhanger with all the Eternals being captured by the Celestials, and I guess it just ends with them being captured by the Celestials and probably killed with a group going in to save them. Um, that's kind of annoying. I'll be honest. I wish, and I do feel like, without really hearing the background, I do feel like all that stuff at the post credits was studio mandated. It really does feel like that because the director had a film she wanted to make, and she did it, and I think she succeeded in making an interesting film that was different than the usual MCU norm. But if we had to kind of steer it back to that, I'll be honest, I wish the film would just have been that, and that would have been a nice statement as far as showing it was different than the other MCU films. Like, let's say it didn't have uh, a stinger for the end for other adventures. And if it was highly regarded and accepted by fans, then maybe we could do an Eternals 2 and then there. But instead, we have this kind of cliffhanger for a film we'll probably never see. I don't know if they'll incorporate that in some of the other material, but uh, that's kind of what it is. It's too bad because I mostly like that film. I think it's pretty good. The Marvels, I think, is more unfortunate because I really do enjoy the Captain Marvel. Obviously, I reading her comic, and I really enjoyed the Marvels. I thought the Marvels was actually a more fun, better film than the first one. I like the first one a lot, and we have less of a problem with that than we did with Eternals. Eternals had a lot of cliffhangers and stingers, like, "Hey, we're going to do these things." And Marvels really didn't have that. I think it's kind of settled its story pretty decently. The only lingering plot thread is Monica being shot into a parallel universe where the X-Men are. But I don't know. Maybe that'll be picked up in a future X film or something. I don't know. And I do assume we'll be seeing Carol in the Avengers movie. And I think that's, for me, at least the advantage of that is at least Carol has a place in the Avengers. We'll probably see her in one or two more Avengers movies, and okay, I'm fine. There's some superheroes that don't get films, and, or it took longer to get films. So I don't know, two and appearances in other films. I think that's pretty good. I'll take that. But it does kind of suck. It would have been nice to be able to kind of round out this trilogy, but now we won't get to. And I was a big proponent of introducing Rogue through Captain Marvel film, and I even had a pitch for that. And I guess that's not going to happen. So that's kind of unfortunate. It kind of sucks, but I am not one of those people, frankly, who is bemoaning the end of Marvel. There are people either panicking about it who are fans or celebrating it who are anti-fans, and those people need to shut the fuck up. Those are really man. You need to walk away from the internet sometimes because that stuff you can't let that get to you. I know a couple people. Uh, let's see. I have a friend who writes comics, and uh, I see him getting arguments with people every day, and even stuff. I don't know. He's a DC guy, and he's not like a big Marvel guy, but I see him getting fights about that. Like it's like I don't know, man. You can't let that stuff bother you as much. You need to be able to walk away, and the touch grass expression is really true. Like there are going to be assholes online all the time, so you can't really let them constantly bother you and constantly like who are you trying to defeat? Like who are you trying to are you trying to convince them? So go, you know what, you're right. Like that's not gonna happen. So that's why I don't know. I don't really do that shit. Um, so I tend to prefer to just put my 2 cents out there. I put my statements out there of what I think, and I move on with my life, and that's that. It's Nano Soapbox. Yeah. Let's see. The Marvels felt like a kind of adventure movie that I would have liked a lot as a kid. Yeah, I think it's really good. Um, I did notice when it hit Disney Plus, a second wave of reactions happened to that film, and people were reacting like, "Oh, wait, this is good. This is what everyone was bitching about." And there's a number of YouTube reactions to it, and it's like, yeah, the film's good. Like, It's like it's not The Dark Knight or anything like that. It's not gonna change cinema, but it was a good film. You come in, you enjoy it, it's nice. I like it. And, I think it complemented, Carol's story very well and kind of gave Brie Larson a lot of stuff to do. I think if there's if there's a couple problems with the first one, and one of them is it doesn't really give Brie Larson a lot to do as far as, her acting. It gives her a chance to do comedy and action. She gets to interact with more people, and she gets to sing, and that was really fun. I know, uh, I don't know how many people know this. She actually started her career as a singer, and then kind of took a left turn and started acting more. Very Johnny Depp. Now that I think about it. Oh, and she sang. If you see her in Scott Pilgrim, she can't sing. She started her career as a one of those kind of blonde second generation Britney Spears type pop singers, and that was really never really going anywhere. So she kind of fell into acting. Well, I don't know, maybe not fell into acting, but focused on acting. So it's nice to see her sing. It'd be cool, after her stint with MCU is kind of done. It'd be cool. I would like to see her do a musical, and I'd like to see her. Be kind of fun to see her do a villain, frankly, because she's done. What was it? There's a movie called Free Fire where she plays this criminal, and she's not exactly an evil villainous character, but she is kind of a little bit because everyone in the movie are criminals. And she's pretty good at that. Another movie. Oh, and she's obviously. villainous character in Scott Pilgrim, but one of several side villains in that film. So it'd be kind of cool to see her do that. But I don't know. I hope she gets a nice big part as Captain Marvel in the Avengers, whichever two Avengers films they're doing. I know the Kang stuff is. Ugh, the Kang stuff is kind of a mess right now, and they're probably recalculating. So we'll see. And I'm very curious to see what we do with the X Men franchise and the Fantastic Four franchise. I'm pretty excited about them. So we'll see. Let's see. I feel like the whole Eternals 2 and Captain Marvel thing being canceled is just rumors at the moment. Um, I'd like to see. Yeah, it would be nice. I don't know if it's been fully. I think you make a good point because I'm kind of going with what I've been hearing online, and I usually tell people don't do that because people just accept shit online as fact. Um, it's just people agreeing that there's this thing, and they go, "Well, I read it online." Well, yeah, you read some other guy saying shit online. So I don't know. I might be falling victim to that myself, but I hope that's. But I'll be honest. Eternals did make a decent amount of money. It was technically a hit. Excuse me. And the Marvels, I can see them not moving forward because it barely made its money back, maybe. Um, but it was the sequel to like one of their more successful films. The first one made $1 billion. Um, and she's still connected to the rest of the MCU. So I don't know if that helps at all. But I'll be honest, if she's just in the Avengers movies from now on, I'll be happy with that. I'll be content. But it would still be nice if we had a third Captain Marvel film. But I don't know. Maybe I'll double check see if that actually is confirmed or just a rumor. Because god damn, people, I should know better. Like geek culture loves throwing around its rumors as if they're actual stories. So I should be careful about that. Let's see, what time is it? We still got about 20 more minutes. Um, I am, yeah, like I said, I didn't really have too much news and stuff coming up this week outside of my own comic book show that's coming. I'm going to be focusing on that. And there's some really talented artists and writers going to this show. And I am going to be selling my book, Red Knight. I just ordered some new copies of the trade I'm very happy with. And I'm going to be doing a panel about writing comics. And I guess, let's see what's in your opinion. Why did Eternals movie and Captain Marvel get so much hate? Uh, well, in the case of the Eternals, I think the fact that it's a very different film, uh, it's a very different type of story. So I don't know if it. I don't know. It had a lot going against it, at the beginning because the Eternals has never been a successful brand at Marvel. The only thing ever going for it is the respectability of the fact that Jack Kirby created it. But it was one of his uh, kind of disappointments. It's one of his concepts that never caught fire. Even when compared to his work at DC with the New Gods, uh, concepts from that did catch on, like Darkseid, for instance, and some of the other New God characters. They took root, where the Eternals never really did. Um, so that's one of the things. I think, of course, like the online hate. Oh no, some of these characters are minorities and women. Like, oh, let's start a whole campaign against it. So that's another thing. But like, it is a very different beast compared to some of the other films. I mean, it's not as funny on purpose uh, as some of the other Marvel films. So I mean, the tone is completely different, and it came in that first batch of MCU films after Endgame. I will maintain over and over again that there's been diminishing returns in some of the MCU films because I think a lot of people feel like the MCU finished up with Endgame. I will always think calling it Endgame was a mistake. I think they should have just called it Infinity War Part 2, because it has the word "end" in it. And people take that into their brains as going, "Well, it's over. This is the end." The lead character in the MCU dies, so maybe it's over. And a lot of people will see future installments of this film series and think they're beating a dead horse. And that's the risk they were running into. And I think um, one of the things I really respect about Phase 4 is the fact that they decided to take chances and explore what they could do with this universe. Um, and I know a lot of people will like shit on that and like rage against that, but like that's how you that's how you develop ideas and see what picks up is you take chances and see what works, and some stuff is going to fail and some stuff is going to succeed, and some stuff may develop in something that's a success. um, that's kind of how that works. So uh, Eternals, I think, is a very strong example of that. I think Zoe Zhao, I think, is the director. I think she really did a great job and really kind of explored what you can do in these films. And I think the acting in the film is really good. I think everyone's really wonderful in the film. Captain Marvel, obviously, the Marvels. We see the bullshit that this character gets online and Brie Larson gets online, and it's just absolutely mind-numbingly obnoxious. And I don't, I did a positive review of the film, and there's like, I don't even read the comments. Some people were like straight up insulting me for liking it. And you know what? It's nice that they think that I give a shit, but I kind of don't. Um, so I like what I like, and if I wanted to be popular, I wouldn't be into geek stuff. So that's kind of how that is. So um, thanks for the engagement, for all those people who I guess decided to, I don't know, like attack a guy who liked the movie. I don't know, whatever. It's stupid. Um, but I don't think. Here's the thing. Actually, I don't. I don't think the sexist online hate is the thing that caused that film to be less profitable than the last one. I think that still goes into my thinking of the audience. First off, theaters aren't bringing in the profits that they were just a few years ago, post COVID, um, post COVID, post what's the other thing that happened? Streaming, not bringing in the numbers like that. So when a film is a big hit, like, oh my god, I can't believe it, blah blah blah. Um, that's why the Barbie Oppenheimer thing was such a big cultural thing, because like these are two movies that came out on the same day. And they were big hits, and they were really kind of exploring ideas. And I don't know, it almost feels like more rare than it used to be. Um, and Marvel's really does feel like just another day at the office with the MCU. It's the opposite problem with the Eternals. Um, and it also came along during kind of like a string of like bad stories for the MCU, and I really do believe the Variety article that came out with just a few weeks before that film came out was, I don't know, that really did feel like a hit piece because they really did seem to be rubbing it in. And I don't know. I mean, that just kind of created a really kind of not a great environment to release any MCU film, frankly. Oh, kind of sucks. And yeah, I don't think the evil, sexist, awful online shouters, I don't think they're that powerful, and I don't think they hurt them because they were going to show up to the movie anyway. They said they have like they were like attacking like Barbie when it first came out, and they quickly quieted down because they were losing that fight. They decided to just move on. They just go on to the next thing that has women in it. And, yeah, that's just, I don't know how long. this is going to be a thing, but it's frustrating. Um, but it is what it is. So I do think those are kind of my I don't know. Those are my general opinions right now. I just think, the timing is just not great, and we'll see. We'll see what comes up in the next batch of films. And I know Disney and Marvel are like thinking a lot about Fantastic Four and X Men, and frankly, I think that was the whole thing about buying 20th Century Fox because I think they understood that they could only make these films about the Avengers section of Marvel for only so long. You can only have these actors play these roles for so long. You can only have so many characters and so many legacy characters for so long before it just runs out of steam. And I think that's why it was so important for them to buy 20th Century Fox so they could get back the rights to Fantastic Four and X Men. And Fantastic Four is a film series that they could move on for a while, and X Men is just a whole other like universe of titles that they can kind of like milk and move on. Like not just X Men, but several different X groups like X Force and New Mutants, and they can do Wolverine again and Deadpool, and like Storm seems to be building popularity, and X Factor, and just they could just continue to do that. Um, so yeah, that was very important. That was seen to be job one uh, for Disney Marvel, and they're cooking something, and I think right now they seem to be patient with what they're doing, and while they're still putting together, I don't know the plan. I don't know what kind of plan they got, but I think they're. I don't think it's done. Frankly, right now, I think if you broke into their offices and their computers and downloaded files, I don't think you're going to like see a perfect map of what they want to do. I think they're kind of working. And so they wisely gave themselves time. Frankly, it's like, well, we're going to do these movies for a while. Now gives us time to figure out what the fuck we're going to do, which I think is kind of like a mature idea. Let's see. Hey, have you asked if you read the Jonathan Hickman Spider-Man? Let's see. I feel like you'd like it. I think I'd like it too. I haven't picked it up yet. I was never a big Ultimate person. I always had this opinion that it was unnecessary. And yeah, I know the Bendis Spider-Man is excellent, but like, why don't you just make Spider-Man good? Like, I don't know. I always found the whole thing kind of pointless, and it was made more pointless by everything besides Spider-Man being terrible. Like, Ultimates was terrible, um, and the X Men was okay at best, maybe. Um, and then of course they just ran aground into the most horrible way they could have possibly done. And that only left Spider-Man, and Spider-Man, of course, had its story run. So I'm interested to see what they're doing, but I don't know. This feels less uh, less invested in its mission statement. The mission statement of the Ultimate books, at least, was very clear. Like we're trying to get new readers reading these books, and this one just feels like, hey, remember Ultimate? That was pretty cool, right? Well, here's like another line, and I don't know. I'll probably pick it up. I mean, I really do like the approach, like an older Spider-Man, with the family and a little bit more together. It does feel like it's taking some of the ideas that we would like to incorporate in regular Spider-Man and put it into this. So that seems pretty appealing. Let's see. So hey, we're about to we're about to reach the 9 o'clock portion. I think I'm not going to do a live show next Sunday because it's Lindsay's birthday. So I think I will probably. I don't think I'll take the week off. I think what I'll do is I'll reschedule next week's live show and put it on a different night. I don't know what night that would be just yet, so I'll figure out a particular night. Really bad fans are loving X Men '97. Feige could definitely use some big inspiration for X Men in the MCU. That is actually a great point, and I would not be shocked if what they're doing in X-Men '97 is either the blueprint for what they want to do, or at the very least, kind of going to bleed into what they're doing. Like, oh, this is kind of working. Let's put this into here. Um, which fine. Like, I'm of the opinion, like, if it's good, steal it. Steal from yourself. Steal from yourself when you're doing a good job. And I think that would actually be a pretty decent idea, and also kind of would prep the audiences, and prep, the creators. Like, oh well, hey, this is how the shit's working. So let's do that. I like that idea. I, if you don't mind me gushing X Men '97 again, I think it's wonderful. I really do like it. I actually was watching before I did the live show tonight. I was actually watching the second episode again, the Magneto episode. That is that one episode is better, I think, than the entire run of the original show. I think it's so good. I think the art, the animation is gorgeous. I think all the acting is really good. I think the action is uh, well done. I think God, the ideas are strong. It has ideas, and it really stands for itself. I really do love it. That's I think that was probably the best episode. The one that just episode 2, I think, is the best episode of X-Men animation I've ever seen. I think it's really good. And it's I would shout. I mean, God, it's I would. This really makes up for a lot. Like I think because Marvel has never been as good as DC when it comes to the animation. DC's always just had a better line. And a lot of that is Bruce Timm. They carried that line for so long. There's been other really good stuff out of animation, not involving Bruce Timm. Uh, but slightly inspired by him, for instance. So there's been a lot of good stuff. Uh, so Marvel's always had a little bit tougher time. They've had their bright spots here and there, but God, this is really good. And Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is very good. Um, I don't know. I just feel like we're kind of in a good spot right now. And one of my complaints about Disney taking over Marvel was the cartoons that, yeah, they canceled. They ended the runs of Spectacular Spider-Man and Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers, to replace them with their own, in-house shows, and they weren't as good, and they were kind of meh, basically. I mean, decent at best. Um, although I'll be honest, like if I was like 8-year-old, I wouldn't have known any better. I would have thought those shows were like, the best. So I try not to get too critical of them because I think they did their job, but they could have done more. And it felt like the problem with the Spider-Man and the Marvel shows and the let's see, Hulk and Guardians of the Galaxy, and forgive me, they may have done another. It really didn't feel like they. It felt like they were doing the bare minimum for what you do for these shows. Not terrible, but like not really trying too hard. If that makes any sense. Um, One of the shows I liked actually on the early times was the Marvel Rising show, which was focused mostly on Miss Marvel and Squirrel Girl, and would spotlight the female characters a little bit more. And that I liked. I think because it had a personality, had kind of snappy writing, and pretty colorful animation. Um, and it wasn't a full series, but it was like this kind of like series specials or something like that. But Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is absolutely wonderful. get that kind of like exciting sense from the Spider-Verse films in this. It's really gorgeous, and this X-Men '97 thing is just wonderful. So I don't know. I'm actually kind of getting this kind of hopeful optimism about Marvel and Disney animation. Frankly, it does feel like, oh wait, maybe we should focus on this more. We should try. I don't know. Maybe it's just feeling like you have to, but now that it really does feel like people really care are you calling some shots. So we'll see. That Magneto speech was killed. That Magneto speech shook me. That Magneto speech actually brought a tear to my eye. I think that's extremely good. Oh my god, what a wonderful bit of writing. Um, so good. I would love to hear Ian McKellen recite that speech as well. Like, oh wait, this. I'd love to hear your Magneto get this speech, and hear you chew it. Oh, but God, the actor they got for that was just absolutely wonderful. And I don't believe he's the original voice actor, but he and the actor for Cyclops are so good, so believable as the original versions. I can barely tell the difference. And God, they nailed their so much in this these first two episodes. They're just like that's why the thumbnail for my review is "Come Out Swinging" because like it didn't do the bare minimum. It pointed to the bleachers that they were going to hit, show where they're going to hit that home run. They pointed to the bleachers. We're going to do it. Uh, Absolutely great stuff. Let's see. Um, let's see. How vast our world is and how small we make it. Like, God damn, yeah, I know. It's so good. It's so good. This is why like episode two is such a great example of why Magneto is such a great character. And I go back and forth on referring to him as a villain. Sometimes I call, oh, he's one of my favorite villains. And it's like, is he a villain? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of funny when you think about him and Poison Ivy, because Poison Ivy and Magneto are characters that started out straight up as villains, and the world has come around on them, and not so much the characters becoming good. It's like we're starting to go, you know what? Maybe they have some points. Maybe they're not too wrong. Magneto. I always like resist people who like will do essays and video essays and shit about how this one villain character was right. And usually that's edgelord bullshit. But I gotta tell you, like Magneto is my weakness in that. Like, maybe he's not wrong. Maybe through viewed a different lens, he's the hero. Oh, so yeah, I really do love it. But yeah, he's the occasional antagonist. Oh, that's a wonderful title. Magneto is an occasional antagonist. That's great. All right, I think I'm going to. Hey, we did the whole hour. Cool. I didn't have too much to talk about this week, so I'm happy I was able to entertain and discuss things. All right, just to review my reviews. Captain Marvel 6, I thought was pretty good. I'm going to give it 3.5 Ram chips out of 5. And Wonder Woman number 7, I thought was also pretty decent. Had some funny moments to it, but some moments fall flat at the same time. It's really kind of hit and miss. But I do think it's worth picking up as well. I would give this 3 Ram chips. Not too bad of a week. Just a time killing week. I thought. I am going to be doing a indie comic show next week on Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to record any video for that. I would like to, but sometimes I get so caught up in a show, I don't really get to do it. So I'm going to try and do some sort of video compilation or something for the show. but we'll see what I can do. Maybe I would like to see if I can do a video of the panel I'm hosting. But if not, I'll maybe discuss what I do for maybe the next live video. But hey, I'm gonna get running, and you can catch me at let's see, all over the place. I'm at Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Twitter, Tumblr, and of course, Red Knight is also on Facebook, and you can support uh, Manos, Real Manos channel and Manos Publishing at Patreon for just $1 a month. And, if you support me there, I might be able to review more, a larger variety of material. So that would be nice. Anyway, I'm going to get going, and this was fun as always. So, folks, have a good night, and I'll see you next week.